This is the award-winning Lee Pitts Live.
Brought to you by the North Law Firm. For car accidents and negligent security cases, call Joe at 239-337-1191. By Southwest Florida Crime Stoppers, where you can report crimes and get paid with nobody knowing your identity. Call 1-800-780-TIPS. By Solomon's Air Conditioning Incorporated. No matter what the weather condition is outside, have it your way inside. 239-693-1569. And by Lee Health.
Southwest Florida, welcome to another edition of Lee Pitts Live here on Fox 4. We're so thrilled to come to you from the outstanding, fabulous Dunbar Community School that's done an outstanding job in hosting us for the next 4 weeks. And we have some great programming scheduled for you. This particular show, get a chance to have a conversation with the president of Florida Gulf Coast University, Dr. Mike Martin. Talk to the superintendent of the Lee County School District, Dr. Greg Adkins. And we'll get a chance to talk to James Muwakkil, the president of the Lee County NAACP. Later on in the show, we'll talk to some other representatives from the Lee County School District. All that's happening on Lee Pitts Live. We'll be right back. All right, Southwest Florida, welcome back to Lee Pitts Live. Again, we're here at the historic Dunbar Community School. What a great setting to bring the television show. Looking forward to the conversation here now with the president of Florida Gulf Coast University, the superintendent of Lee County School District, the president of the Lee County branch of the NAACP. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
It's good to get all of you here. Fortunately for me, I've interviewed you all over a period of time, and I've seen all of you doing your level best to do your best in the community. So it's good to get you here at one time as we move in deep into the first quarter 2020. One of the things that has been, I guess, in a lot of conversation is the opportunities that you guys at your big institutions have been able to provide for minorities to participate in various forms of doing business with the schools, certainly in the area of development, construction, and things of that nature. So let's begin with you, Brother James Muwakkil. Talk about your relationship and the partnership that you've been that these institutions and NAACP and minority developers have been having there.
Well, we don't have one yet. We're on the road with that. We reached out to each other, Dr. Adkins and myself, NAACP, as well as President Martin. We don't have any disagreements. We all are in agreement that procurement opportunities should be inclusive for all. And so we wanted this meeting to take place to raise the visibility of these great institutions and what they are working towards regarding equal opportunity for all people, definitely African Americans. We find that owners are using the term minority to satisfy any minority percentage requirements, but oftentimes minority is excluding blacks. And so our position here today is not necessarily minorities on the job, because we do see them. What we don't see is qualified African Americans, and both these gentlemen are working towards at least addressing some of that.
Okay, so let's deal with that. For our TV audience, how do you define procurement? You, Brother James Muwakkil, president.
Opportunities for contracts.
Okay. For example?
Working with the government.
Give me some type of contract.
Construction.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. How you guys looking at procurement opportunities? Construction. That would be physical schools being built and things of that nature, right?
Physical schools being built. It could be a project like a smaller project like HVAC.
Mm-hmm.
It could be putting in flooring, replacement. working in maintenance of our schools, re-roofing project. That's just one aspect.
Food services.
Food services. You're also talking about any number of things like printing services.
Okay.
You can contract that out. It's any type of contract where we are asking for a business owner or a company to come in and do a service for our school district.
Okay. Let's go to you, Dr. Mark. At Florida Gulf Coast University, I mean, the pillar in the community, the shining institution on the hill. You have brought a certain level of sensitivity to equal opportunity. I've had conversations with you about that. What are ways that minorities can do business with Florida Gulf Coast University that you see right now on the horizon?
Well, much like Greg said, certainly construction projects and either being contractors or subs, and various other projects that relate to that. But also, as Greg suggested, we outsource our food service. We will certainly look at more opportunities for minority businesses to supply us there. We've got a number of enterprises across the campus that we don't manage directly, but through them, we can become significantly bigger utilizers of minority businesses in the area. And then I think also we need to continually find ways for members of the minority community to work directly for FGCU. And I think that's also a matter of seeking out people who can appropriately meet the needs of the institution and therefore have a career on campus. And in every one of those ways, we need to be proactive, and we need to do it in partnership with the NAACP. As James knows, I'm about a 30-year member of the NAACP and several other communities, and have worked throughout my career to try to find ways to build those partnerships. And I think it's an ongoing process, but it's a process worth pursuing.
Let's go back to the definition of minority. You heard the president of the NAACP say that, and I'm learned enough to know that females qualify as minorities and so on and so forth. And a lot of white females companies do qualify as minorities. The black piece, the African-American piece, is that some kind of way you can track that by working with community-based groups and make sure you get a fair participation?
Oh, I think there's absolutely ways we can track it. And I want everyone we work with to reflect the nature of this community. I think it's important we think about that. As you probably know, we've just struck a partnership with the Quality of Life Center to have a presence up in this neighborhood and to do some things jointly to know what's going on so we can be a better servant to the neighborhood as well, to bring the university here rather than expect people to go to the university. So all of those are opportunities for us to reach out, better understand what's available to the institution in the African American community in this particular case, and be more proactive in creating opportunities.
Now, I'll come back to you in a minute, James. When we're sitting here, Dr. Adkins, we are talking to the TV show that is going into about 750,000 households and surrounding 6 counties. I know we're talking to the president of the Lee County branch of the NAACP, but when you start to track your information on minorities throughout the region, you are able to include them in your numbers. Do we, the Lee County School District, do you have a certain goal that you would like to reach in terms of African Americans being able to do a certain amount of business with the school district?
We don't have a goal when it comes to an actual number or percentage. That's something that we really can't not do. And as I understand, unless we do a disparity study and go through that process, what we're doing right now is we're working on, I think, our outreach efforts so we could reach local businesses, minorities, small businesses, and because sometimes they don't realize the opportunity that is there with the school district, because we're a $1.6 billion business. There's a lot of opportunity for a small or minority business owner to do work with the district, and they may not know that that's there. So we had a vendor fair. We invited hundreds of people to it. That's an awareness piece. It also is about helping them work through the process of procurement so they know where to look, how to go through that process, and understand what's available. We are also working on a small and minority business program to bring to the district. Our procurement director, Frederick Ross, and our staff attorney, Brian Williams. Brian has had experience in Miami-Dade working in the Economic Development Office doing this type of work. So we're going to use that experience here I think, expand what we can do here for our community.
All right, before I come to you, James, you said 1.6 billion.
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's a big number. Did you have a number?
Yeah, we're about a $600 million operation, so we're not nearly as big as
I
the
was
school
thinking
district.
when I go through that campus, it's so big, but it's not as big as. Okay.
Well, this is an expansive operation that Greg handles. So,
well, let me say this on air. I never said this on air. I have found it useful. I'm a minority business. Most people don't realize that, and I have really found it user-friendly to do business with the Lee County School District. So I want to make sure I say that on air. Now, let's go to you, James. The process. Is there a lot of paperwork? Have you guys gotten together on what's the process to get tapped in? Do you have some businesses now that are waiting to do business with the school district or this Florida Gulf Coast, and they've been getting pushed back? Tell us where we are right now.
Well, beginning, and that's the truth. That we're beginning. We have not had this type of breakthrough with FGCU and the Lee County School District prior to both Dr. Adkins and Dr. Martin arriving. And so we all know where each other stand. It's not so much as the owners, because these are considered the owners. It's the contract management company that are winning these contracts.
Okay, so let's say ABC contract company gets a big contract with the Lee County School District to build a new school. Then the pressure needs to come from the Lee County School District to make sure that they make an effort to have African Americans as a part of that business model.
Well, African American, I don't want to, they have the attorney there. And so I know that historically, certain cases have been struck down if it's not worded carefully. There's a lot of things that institutions, public projects can do regarding getting minority contractors on the job. Now, we're seeing minorities again, but what we're not seeing is African Americans. It's not so much of the process, the procedure, the paperwork. If African Americans are contractors and they have license, then they also have they also know that they're responsible for completing all paperwork. That's not the issue. The issue is what we've seen here locally with the John Walker project, and that's a $3 to $5 million project, considerably smaller than what FGCU and the school superintendent do. So what happened was that there was subcontractors. Okay, so the general contractor was chosen. The city did not give them any conditions. There was a minority program in place at the city of Fort Myers with a percentage of 10 to 15% minorities. However, this was not communicated to that particular contract management company that got that job. When we looked up African American contractors I'm talking about, right in our backyard, we see this multi-million-dollar project taking place, but we see no contractors that resembles the community in which the work is going on. Unemployment rate, census would show, is higher in this area than in any other area. It also shows that this area has the poorest tract, group of people in different places, in pockets. So poverty exists here locally, and unemployment is higher here in African American community, more so than any other community. We don't have no problem with minorities being used.
Okay.
There was no opportunity.
All right, so that's another project that we'll get to, Jones Walker, right? I've read about that. Let's go to the challenge. Tickler system, what you may have in place when you're talking to people who are coming in to bid on projects and receiving these large projects, and they qualify. They got the bonding capability. They got all these things in place to allow them to win these big construction projects. how does Florida Gulf Coast have that conversation with those developers?
Well, in every case that I've been involved in, we've encouraged them, and there's a limit what you can require. We've encouraged them to seek minority subs for sure. And we've just done several projects on campus in which I think had you observed them, you would know that we're having a little bit of success. And we will start one of the biggest construction projects in the history of the institution probably this summer, 117,000 square foot building. And I've had very direct conversations with the people who are likely to build that building to make that clear. I think we can do some things together that we need to work harder on. One is we need a clearinghouse of where all the minority businesses are that we can deal with, not just construction, but across the board, catering, as Greg said, printing, a whole variety of things.
And I don't want to leave out, I mean, we're talking construction right now, I'm narrowing that topic down, but that employment piece that you talked about, we want to raise that awareness of that to people who are listening right now. You're outreaching, and I'll get to Dr. Adkins. We've had many conversations about that. You're outreaching right now, too, for people for jobs.
Absolutely.
And you don't have to be a professor to get a job. There's all types of jobs.
And we work very hard to make sure that every pool of applicants reflects the community, and we have sufficient numbers of minorities in that pool that there's a high likelihood of some positive outcome. The other thing that the NAACP can work with us on is having every one of those businesses understand the complexity of procurement in the state of Florida, in higher education state of Florida. It is, I will tell you, having been around the country, this is the highest viscosity bureaucracy I've ever dealt with. So we've got layer after layer after, I'm just telling you, layer after layer of regulation. And in all candor, particularly in construction, it's gotten worse since the University of Central Florida broke the rules. And so we fill up a whole garage full of just auditors coming to look at us every day. And so the bottom line is we can work together, A, to better identify who's out there that we can go for, and B, how they can better align themselves with our procurement rules so they are teed up and ready to go when things come along.
I'm going to talk to an attorney and get some general information on that.
But I mean, higher education, Greg and company has a local school board. I've got a local board, a statewide board, a legislature, a statewide bureaucracy, and even some instances federal regulations that you got to fit every project into.
Okay, I'm gonna dig into that when I get some experts up here. But in general, as we sit here today taping this interview, your position is, as the president of Florida Gulf Coast University, is that you want to improve on that and you're willing to work towards that end, and that's your position, right?
Well, and not only that, we manage the campus every day through a cabinet, a group of us that are the senior administrators. We have strong minority representation on that cabinet. As you probably know, our provost is an African American, our senior attorney is an African American, our compliance officer is an African American. All of them sit around the table and make sure we're true to our commitment.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Is one thing to be African American sitting around the table, another thing to have the nerves, the fortitude, and the commitment and desire to speak up on certain things.
Well, and I think that sends a message about what we value.
Yes.
I mean, I think you take a picture of that group and say, this at least is symbolic of the fact that we value diverse voices and diverse participation in the leadership of the university.
What do you have to say to that, Brother James Muwakkil? Well, the fact that he has a tremendous amount of African Americans on the cabinet.
I mean, we're not saying that FGCU is not inclusive in
okay.
Hiring.
You think that's a good thing?
That's excellent.
Okay, let's go to you, Dr. Adkins. The challenges. What type of challenges do you have, and is the Lee County School District committed to doing their level best to make sure that all minorities get a chance to participate in the growth, the economic development, and job opportunities?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is something that continues to be a challenge, but it's also a commitment on the part of the school district to do. I think it benefits our entire community. I mean, it serves all of us to serve our community better, make sure that these contracts are coming to local businesses, to small businesses, so they can grow and be a vital part of our community. I mean, I plan to live here the rest of my life, and I've been here now, 30 plus years. And so I'm certainly somebody who's interested in Lee County being, a wonderful, huge economic success moving forward. This is my kid is, and hopefully grandkids someday. And I think we all have to, the challenge is all of us continuing to work together and communicate together to make sure that we make this a reality here in the school district and in our Lee County community.
Okay, sounds good. Where do we go from here? If you were, you're always doing your big strategic planning. What's a good place to go from here?
Well,
Dr. Martin?
and James and I can talk about this. Greg and I have talked about it a bit, as with some others in the community. I think we put together an informal group to lay out some plans in which every public agency, but certainly the ones we represent, can be more proactive and more responsive to the minority communities of the region. And I don't think it has to be incredibly formal, but I do think we need to get together from time to time and say, here's what's on the horizon. Give your folks, whoever you know, a heads up that this is coming, tee them up for opportunities so that it makes it much easier for us to be able to move forward and make the kind of changes Greg has suggested. So I think we have an opportunity to carry on a better conversation.
Jane, where we go from here?
We stay with the course that everybody's on, that the superintendent of the school district is on, and also the course that Dr. Martin has, FGC. It just has to be results, though. But the results has to be where the owners are making sure that those who are the primes that are awarded the contract give opportunities to all minority contractors regarding bidding, and so.
Yeah, but I think there are laws against certain way. We'll talk to the attorney about that.
Some of the complaints that we get is that NAACP, we didn't even have opportunity to bid. So we've gotten some evidence that things are moving in the right direction, both with FGCU, because FGCU are using African Americans on their job. The school district is using African Americans on their job. Recently, Supt, who was awarded the Gateway High School, has made steps to reach out to the African American community regarding opportunity to be on the Gateway project, and also contractors at FGCU are making those same types of attempts.
Dr. Adkins, if I found a question, when we hear about a large developer who is making outreach, is it fair to say that they are making that outreach on their own, or because the consciousness of that is being raised at the highest level in the school district?
We have raised it from the school district. I personally have had conversations with Supt. In fact, it was at the vendor fair where we talked about this very thing. Mr. Muwakkil was there. And so it's good to hear that they're making a conscious effort. And certainly as we move forward and look at how we do procurement, we can formalize that as an expectation of our major contractors.
Okay, we'll continue to talk about this, keep the community informed. And I'm so thrilled that you guys came out to be good sports and just kind of start the process of the dialogue. I'm looking forward to talking to the experts when we go to commercial break. We'll be right back.
Lee Pitts Live is a Lee Pitts Enterprise production.
Hello, everybody. This is Lee Pitts, the host of the award-winning Lee Pitts Live here on Fox 4. We appreciate you watching our show here on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, clicking below. Let everybody else know that they can subscribe as well. Also, when we're on the air on Fox 4, you can also catch us streaming live at 8:30 a.m. in the morning on fox4now.com. Just click on live and you get us all types of ways at your convenience. That's Lee Pitts Live.